So when outfitting your bump lid or ballistic helmet, there are a few things that I think are fairly commonly done. You know, you've got your ear pro, you have sometimes a battery pack if you are running nods, your IR or visible light beacon that is on the top, the strobe, top or back. And then of course there are your accessory lights or tasking lights, things like that. In this case, this is the Nextorch rStar tactical helmet light. Let's get into this. So for full transparency, Nextorch did send me this. They also sent me another rifle light that I'll be getting to very, very shortly. But they did send me this and the rifle light just before SHOT Show, I think it was. And been using it, been sort of abusing it. So let's get into it. Now, I do not have any financial stake, any financial relationship with Nextorch. I'm not an affiliate, anything like that. I don't make any money off of whether or not you buy one of these or not. I'm just giving you the most unbiased and educated opinion I possibly can on this product. Okay, so why would we want a light on our helmet? Let's get into that first, because I'm sure people out there who are maybe in the process of or thinking about building their helmet out or getting a helmet look at various accessory or tasking lights, ears, you know, comms, things like that. And it can get a little overwhelming as to how much crap you want to put on your head. This is one of those things that's very, very light, and I don't think that there is any real drawback to putting a light of some sort on your helmet. They are very useful for a number of things, depending on the light output of that particular piece. In this case, again, the Nextorch rStar. So one of the main advantages of putting a light of some sort on your bump lid or your ballistic helmet is tasking. And what I mean by tasking is fidgeting, is maybe you have a malfunction with your gun, maybe you need to put something together, take something apart, and of course it's dark. I think that was probably a safe assumption already. Map reading and even navigation. These are all things that are very, very, that lights like this are super useful for, and things that I use lights like this for. So let's talk about some of the specifications of the rStar and get a closer look at it as well. So the rStar has white, red, green IR and a friend or foe beacon on it. So the rStar max lumens output is 80 lumens on its brightest setting on white, and its max runtime is 38 hours on low. Max beam distance of 10 meters, max intensity of 40 candela. It's got a water resistance of IPX4, with an impact distance of 2 meters, and it uses a battery of either a single AA alkaline or a 1.5 volt lithium ion battery. So I skipped right over some of the light stuff there on that because I want to show you a couple things. First of all, the light head here is about 3/8 of an inch, half of an inch big, and it's got sort of a frosted glass on it. Now that frosted glass, in my opinion, helps with the dispersion of light as opposed to having a hot spot that candela would normally give you. Why do I think that is important? Because if you guys have been around the channel, you know how highly I talk about candela and hot spots. We're not trying to target something with this as far as, you know, in somebody's face or an exact pinpoint aim or something like that. Again, this is for tasking, and if you've ever tried to do anything in the dark with a very high-powered light or a light with a very hot center, it almost washes what you're doing out. You almost need to like turn your flashlight away from what you're doing in order to read a map or fidget with whatever you're fidgeting with. So I think that the frosted glass or this sort of diffuser on the cover here helps with the purpose of a light like this. Now the modes are white light with the single push of a button, and then you push and hold if you want to go to the brighter setting, which you'll see in some B-roll here. Sorry about the wind noise if there is any. And then you have red, green, and IR, which you can't see the IR right now. Now the head is on this nice neck here, this sort of a slinky snake thing here, and this seems to hold up really well. Like, I've ripped this thing in and out of my gear bag a bunch of times, and I know this is getting caught on stuff, and it, you know, I haven't had a problem with it. I haven't had a short, I haven't had the light flicker or anything like that. Another thing that this thing has is what they call the IFF beacon. This is an infrared beacon that lets you know friend or foe, right? Lets you know friend or foe. So this is an IR. It's not super bright, but it is bright enough to be able to spot your teammates in the field, so to speak. And then this just screws right off here, and that is your battery compartment. Very easy to do. And of course you can push the lever and take it off of your helmet. So this is the unit as a whole. And then lock it back on your helmet where you want it. There we go. Lock it back on your helmet where you want it and use it. Now, advantages to having different colors on here as opposed to just red or just green or just IR or just white light is an understanding of light and what it does to things you're looking at and the intensity of that light. So white light is very bright. When I say very bright, it leaves a very bright light signature, meaning you can see white light from very far away, and it also tends to create halos, bright halos. Even duller or dimmer white lights tend to create halos that you can see. Red light is one of the least visible to our eyes and has the least light signature as it pertains to doing something, tasking or navigating and things like that. So you can use the red when navigating through, say, the woods or the desert here, things like that, and be able to see where you're going in the very, very dark night without leaving a bright signature of where you're at. Greens, again, have a lower signature, not as low as red, but not as bright as white. And greens tend to work very well, in my opinion, when it comes to actual tasking, right? So if I am doing something, like if I am fidgeting with my helmet, fidgeting with my pads, things like that, the green is fine. When reading something like a map, greens tend to wash out some of the lines and terrain features on a topo map. So you don't want to use green when reading a topo map. Red is a little bit better for it. White is the best. So they all have their advantages, and that's one of the reasons this is equipped with all of those features. Now, IR, of course, being the invisible signature. If you happen to be navigating with nods, if you happen to be entering a building or a room and it is nighttime and you're using nods, you can use the IR on this, the IR output here, as umbrella lighting. So basically, as you're wearing this, you can just have this like this, right? Have the IR on. You're creating a halo of IR in the room, and it does not take much for a good set of nods to make that room just look like daytime. And then if you happen to look at your teammate or something like that, you're not going to blind him by having it pointed straight at him. So the advantage to IR in something like this cannot be overstated. So in the end, I've used this quite a bit. I've done plenty of navigating with it. I've worn it shooting a bunch of times. Again, I've ripped it in and out of my gear bag a bunch of times. Never had like this rip or anything like that. Hasn't fallen off, anything crazy like that. I can navigate just fine with white or red, with all the colors really, but I can navigate just fine with walking through the desert at night, things like that. So It's a very, very useful thing to have on your helmet, and this one has worked out very well for me. Now, while this isn't overly huge, it's actually rather small compared to some of the larger lights. Some people use damn near full-size flashlights on their helmet, things like that. You cannot run something like the 3M helmet mounts that mount here for your ears. I had to switch to this style of a mount that mount at the rear of the rail in order to make sure I could run this on my side rail. It doesn't matter how far forward I have this, the head of the mount will not fit on this top rail. So nothing gets a free pass on the channel. So if there is one downfall about this, it is that if you're currently running something that is a top mounted Ear Pro mount and you want something like this, you're going to have to switch to these back here. So one thing I did forget to mention is that it does only come in black. So if that's an issue for you, you can always paint it, of course, but I don't know what to tell you. It does only come in black. Otherwise, I think it's a very, very complete light. Thank you to Nextorch for sending that out. It's pretty cool little product. I don't think it's a terribly bad price, to be honest with you, and it has worked for everything I've needed it for, so I really couldn't ask for anything more. Thank you guys out there for watching the video. Thank you for all your support. If you want to support the channel, you can become a member. It's very inexpensive, and you get members only posts and previews, things like that. Otherwise, you can just hit that like, share, subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Remember to hit all notifications. Leave a comment down below. Let me know down below, really anything, but what kind of a light do you have for your task light or your navigation light on your helmet? I'm interested. And people out there that may be watching this to figure out how to build their helmet out may be interested as well. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you later.